And so it is, beloved masters. The times are showing in every aspect the divisiveness of the last days of the old order. How separation has held things so at odds. And people are looking for answers. They're looking for proof. They're looking for satisfaction. They're looking for something that will tell them, you're right. And it is, beloved masters, as anyone on this planet is willing to keep their personal energy in the higher dimensional frequencies, connected internally, not intellectually, but internally to Source, to really feel high on yourself, excited about you, pleased with your progress. And it is, beloved masters, the challenge of the finite mind to hold humanity in places where really they can no longer go is something that calls for a war game, because the ego is always at conflict, at war with itself. One head of the dragon conflicting with the other head of the dragon. And for you, it is bringing the left brain and the right brain together so that you are not functioning within your own mind like a two-headed dragon, that you allow yourself to feel united, blended, integrated, interdependent, and as you plug in, and I talk about being plugged in all of the time, but if you focus on your solar plexus, and in that area of the stomach, where the breastbone cleaves, that whole area just under the heart is a major sacred space, but it's also where any human being can energetically connect to Source. So you might say, I'm looking for how to connect to Source. So look for a plug. It isn't so much to try to decide what the plug may look like, even though the finite mind would like to decide, oh, it's a wall plug. So what I need is a plug on a cord that I can plug into the wall plug. And if that feels as though it allows you to connect to Source, then that is a divinely appropriate imagery. Others may see the connections on a computer and the plug that slips into a slot rather than one with prongs. But to plug in to universal consciousness, to the elevated frequencies of higher understanding, and to feel in your solar plexus a power surge, a lift of energy, a feeling of greater consciousness, deeper within yourself, higher out beyond you, more complete, more expanded, until you began to recognize energetically that you truly are a being that is more expanded, more fulfilled, encompassing, bigger than this earth. And the finite mind goes into fear because something that is larger than the planet is impossible to control. And that, beloved masters, is a point of understanding that is becoming more necessary all of the time. And as you keep plugged in, and you feel how it feels to live in a higher frequency, how happy, how fulfilled, how peaceful, how prosperity flows almost unbidden into your life. And in that connection, you began to realize how much easier it is to keep your personal energy high when you're connected. When you are connected to the source of creation. Because when you plug in to that creative source that is everywhere, you begin to draw power. Now, this is not taking power from someone else. This is simply drawing the power that belongs to you. And you begin to notice, as you stay plugged in consistently, that you feel more energized. You feel recognizably a greater creative flow. We call it magic. The magic of your own masterful design. Whatever your art, whatever your dream, as you stay plugged in. And as you begin to practice, and I use the word practice, it isn't as though you're really just dabbling in it. As you begin to live plugged in, you begin to notice changes in your everyday, ordinary physical affairs. You attract more clients, more customers, more people in general. If you are looking to be a purveyor of creative resources, then it is, beloved masters, you will begin to notice that you become progressively more creative. To create uniquely, and yet to create beautifully. To create in such a manner that every item that you create has an energy signature, if you would, that speaks to the people that are being drawn to you. Whether you paint, whether you write, whether you design, whether it is to make people more beautiful in some way, physically, mentally, emotionally, as you keep your personal energy high, it's as though being in love, in honor, in respect, in all manner of high regard of yourself, acts like a magnet. Depression acts like a wall. And yet, beloved masters, depression is simply an energetic indication that you are standing very close to a monumental breakthrough in your life, energetically, making changes, yes, the ego cannot control, and experiencing yourself in a whole new way. Because the judgments of illusion have caused people to turn within, but not to find themselves, just to hide. Introspection can become inversion. And if you are completely hidden within yourself, you're not looking for that plug-in to source. You're looking to hide, to keep yourself closed away from others, from their prying eyes, from their opinions, from their judgments, which all in these times absolutely are mirrors of your own judgments and opinions about yourself and others. So as you make an honest effort, I didn't say try, because when you try, you're back to pushing your good away. Try is a bit like being behind the wheel of a front-end loader, and you're driving down the road, and all of your good, your potential, is being gathered in this front-end loader. It's being scooped up from the universe, but you can't reach it because trying keeps you at the wheel, and you can't dare get off of the front-end loader, because if you did, you would probably be run over by this machinery that has been set up to get what you want, but the very energy of trying prevents you from reaching the good that is being scooped up. So here is this machine that is driven by your depression, by your fear, by your anger, by your belief that even though other people are getting wonderful things and drawing them into their life, you don't get it. It doesn't belong to you. It's not for you. They have some secret. And so this front-end loader that is a construct of the illusion keeps rolling powerfully down the road, scooping up your good. How do I stop it? How do I get the good? When you are plugged into Source, it raises your energy. As it raises your frequency, you realize that you are now above the energy of this machine, and you can, with this new powerful energy that you are drawing into you from Source, you can stop the forward motion of this machine that is a deterrent to your good. It gathers it and prevents you from having it. And that, beloved masters, is what the power of judgment, of doubt, of control does in your life. As you raise your energy, suddenly you have full accessibility to all of the good that has been gathered up. And you're not putting up walls, barriers, resistance to receiving the good because of some unknown fear. What would happen if I get the good? What would I lose in order to have the good? And when you consider that where you have lived for lifetimes in that energy of a shadow of truth, you have been convinced that any good thing has a price. So when you contemplate all this good that is potentially there for you, forgive the price. God never put a price on the gifts that are given from higher dimensional frequency. Love doesn't demand retribution. And yet, if you were to go around and talk to people all over the planet, most people have some belief. It may be very powerful, it may be simply a casual consideration, but most people have some belief that there's going to be something taken away for the good they receive. And that has kept you small. It has kept your hands in your pockets, so to speak. Don't touch. It doesn't belong to you. So I will say this again. Everything that is yours energetically is yours. And everything that belongs to someone else is theirs. And in the illusion, people have been taking things that didn't belong to them for eons of time. But it is. The price on taking something that isn't yours, even though you would like to have it, is it never fulfills you. It doesn't matter what it is. The ego loves to count coups, so to speak, to take something from someone else and then gloat over how easily they were able to take money, goods, a lover, a position of authority. And yet, if it is taken without clear permission from the other person. Now, a lot of people are ready to give away their good because it's like the proverbial hot potato. And they're afraid to hold on to it very long. So they've got to pass it on to someone else, even though they don't want to lose it. So there is a lot of permission to take my good on the planet, but it's a hidden agenda. It's one of those secrets that you have kept from yourself, or what the ego's doing behind your own back. And revelation is here to assist every human being on the ball to discover what they have been putting in the way of their good. Control, need, a right to have it, entitlement, logic, reason. I have a perfectly good reason for wanting what I want. But are you willing to accept it? So, learning, and this is not a head game, actually it's erroneous for I to say learning, because truly it's much more remembering to allow yourself to stay connected to the higher energy. And logic says, I've got a life. I don't have time to be thinking about whether I'm allowing my good or not. In fact, the ego has, shall we call it, a political program that if someone begins to talk about the magic, then the ego begins to talk very, very fast about what is happening on the planet. Can't you see it? Everyone is experiencing this. Well, not everyone. There are actually more and more people that are playing around with the magic. Playing around with the magic. And the finite mind is always 2/3 more serious about anything that isn't physical. So, if it is the energy of spirit, the idea of playing around with it, oh, no! How awful that you would play with magic, with the spirit, with that energy of the divine. But it was divinely given. It was given to each one of you. Enjoy. The sheer delight of your creation. And the connection to the power of God, Goddess, all that is. Not God, He, the patriarchal mindset, or Goddess, She, which still incites in many people judgments against the feminine nature. But the masculine strength and the feminine compassion blended in the totality of all creation. Love without any measure, without any condition. And that, beloved masters, allows you to have consistently this connection to higher consciousness, to feel it and stay with yourself. Invite what you desire to come to you. And stay aligned with you.